and use as a bridge, and let the Chinese make their overtures to Hong Kong and Macau, which serves mainland purposes.
At Shuyan College in Hong Kong, it has set up a law program link with Beida, or Beijing University. It's the kind of link Dinah Lee is talking about, a formal Shuyan Beida link.
The problem in China, the law school, is the book, the material supply. I think Shuyan College has a variety of books that we are short of, and also we can exchange our faculty members, which will help us to lecture in different places and enlighten ourselves too.
According to the link, Beida will offer graduate degrees in law for Shuyan law graduates, and for one Beida lecturer, that's appealing.
We get a lot of benefit because people graduate from Hong Kong University, they only know British law. But the students graduate from Shuyan College, they have a legal background, common law legal background. They also have a civil law, especially a socialist law background. I'm sure they have a lot of opportunities because the business between the Hong Kong and the mainland is increasingly dramatic.
It's important that people here understand Chinese law, of course, because our trade links are going to increase, etc., etc. But I think it's more important that people should concentrate on what we know to be Hong Kong law now, an amalgam of Chinese and British law, and to develop that in order to enhance Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy, which is what we're supposed to be working for.
But what about these Hong Kong students, possible graduates from Beida's law program? What will they be working for?
After 1997, I can imagine the people either can work for the business circle or also can service for the government, because they become a same country.
In Hong Kong.
I don't think that we want a government after 1997 run by people trained in Chinese law. And I don't mean the law as written. I mean the law as applied, as we see it now applied in China, or not applied in China. That sounds like a very bad basis on which to start running the Hong Kong government. I think it would be better to have people here who have been trained overseas or in Hong Kong law, who will go into government service or in the legal department or whatever, to enhance our autonomy, not to draw us closer to a Chinese judicial system, which is in a very embryonic stage, where we have Chinese lawyers complaining of no status in society, or a very vague kind of ambiguous situation, as Chinese themselves discover how rule of law is supposed to work in their own society.
The China links will probably continue to develop as 1997 approaches, but there's one big factor in all of these agreements.
It doesn't mean protection for the institutions, protection for their intellectual freedom. I should think that they would work harder to develop links with overseas institutions for two reasons. It enhances their high degree of autonomy, and it means they have actually more to offer the mainland, more to negotiate. I mean, one knows that when you're dealing with the Communist Party or the Chinese, your value to them lies in your otherness, your outsideness, your separateness, not in the speed with which you rush into their arms and become like them. And that's what the whole United Front activity in Hong Kong is about.
Whether these China links protect Hong Kong and Macau institutions is too early to tell. But there's one thing for sure, there are other overseas people eyeing the Hong Kong market. We'll look at this situation on part 2. This could be a browser for just another Hong Kong product exhibition. The salespeople are there. But this product fair doesn't sell anything that you can carry away. It sells education, giving rise to a continuing phenomenon.
In Canada, as in many Western countries, there's a declining enrollment in many of the schools. We've had the baby boom generation has moved through the system, leaving empty classrooms behind. So in order to keep the schools running at full capacity, it's possible to bring in, or it's beneficial to bring in people from outside.
Like Hong Kong.
Like Hong Kong, sure.
Getting students for their overseas schools, that's the job of these two recruiters.
Our biggest market at the present time, I would think, will likely be Hong Kong, and to a lesser extent, I would think perhaps Singapore and Malaysia.
We want the Hong Kong market. We like the Hong Kong people. We hope that we can establish a very solid link between an office here in Hong Kong and our office in Halifax.
Many of these recruiters coming to Hong Kong just want those bodies, and as long as these people can pay and they satisfy their requirements, and that's bad. To me, that's really immoral.
So like other products and newspaper ads, the Hong Kong student, according to the overseas recruiters, is simply another marketplace. One man who doesn't like the growing exodus of students is Dr. Hugh Tang. He's proposing a 2-year community college in Hong Kong. He claims that could solve some problems.
For the good of Hong Kong, we should keep the people and the money here in Hong Kong. $500 billion US are being drained every year from Hong Kong, going to the schools and colleges in the States and Canada and other countries.
One way that $500 billion US moves overseas is probably because of the prodding of education fairs like this one. And sometimes it's just as crowded as any other product fair.
Education fairs aren't something new in Hong Kong. Trying to get Hong Kong students to study overseas is something foreign institutions have been doing for many years. It's big business.
Big business? For one language school like this one in Halifax, Canada, that's exactly what it is.
The International Language Institute is a private business, but in the manner that a consultant serves his clients, we treat the students as our clients, and we provide a service for a fee.
If a private school is talking about it in a purely business format, then as a parent I would be somewhat hesitant to send my child there.
Public or private overseas colleges? What are the pros and cons? One recruiter from a publicly supported Canadian college has this idea.
The fact, of course, that the provincial government is paying 85% of the cost of operation from federal and provincial funds ensures, in fact, that they're going to that the programs are going to be viable. Otherwise, they certainly won't be giving us the taxpayers' money.
And what about some private schools? What does one language school offer?
We review the student's transcript to see if the student has a reasonable chance of being admitted to university. In other words, we're looking for those students who have reasonably good grades, but for whom language is a problem. Those students